Hey guys, what's up? These are my thoughts on the first opening for Inazuma 11 Aries. It starts off with Asato, one of the main characters, facing towards the coast, and shows one by one his teammates, followed by Asato's his pose at the end, where he points using his fingers, likening it to shooting something with like a water pistol. Two other main rival characters appear, with one having Jude pictured in the background. The other character has someone not known in the background, with a young version of him crouched on the floor. This might indicate some sort of tragic past, or, something that has caused him to be very isolated and very depressed. The two football managers and the new coach appear, with the coach having what looks like some sort of evil intent within his eyes and his smile. It pans into a set of scales, and each of the new Inazuma 11 jump out from the same side. Some of them by 2x2. Of note, the ones that have been on their own are the goalkeeper, who is the only female member of the team. I think her name is Nozaki. A defender who has the same technique as Jack. The technique called the wall. I believe his name is Golem. And the captain. On the top of the scales stands a mysterious figure that looks not too different from the person in Inazuma 11 Go, Season 1, who forces football to be shared equally. He also looks a little bit like the president from the Alias Academy arc, who is a president and the father of Tori. Going into a shot of the footballer with the red hair, looking depressed, Asato appears with a football behind him, and goes into a match where the red hair player is dodging the new Raymon 11. It transforms into the grey-haired character Haizaki, who slides past someone else before transitioning into Asato, being enclosed by a rival team. We see spoilers that Nathan has joined Royal Academy alongside David, I think it's Samuel or something along those lines, and Kaim. We also see Axel, Byron Love and Sean Frost, and a few unknown characters, finishing off with the new Inazuma 11 appearing near the cliff. I think that it's a good direction for the series to focus on multiple characters within the main team, and had limited episodes dedicated to other teams. The first look at the team is both a good and a bad thing. By revealing all of them, you get a sense of what they are like, without showing any sort of personality traits, so it keeps everything hidden outside of their appearance. The downside being there are no surprises. I think the least they could have done was to exclude the striker that can use Fire Tornado from the first episode lineup at the end, so that this was at least a small surprise within the first episode. The grey-haired player Haizaki looks smug, whilst the red-haired player looks very soulless. Asato appears to enjoy football and is very carefree, very similar to Mark Evans, or Endo Mamoru, as you know him in the Japanese. The supporters include Jude and a mysterious player from the same team. The two support managers for the new Raymon 11. The one with the green bow looks very similar to Sylvia, and is seen smiling, whilst the manager with the red bow looks pretty angry or very neutral. She doesn't seem to be very emotional, and has that same kind of attitude as Nelly had at the beginning of the original series. The coach has a Chinese motif. Strange since this is set in Japan. It'll be interesting to see how he will change the way they play. The scales to me shows the team letting off their inhibitions when they are playing football, as the football world is starting to be controlled. It also shows that they're trying to tip the scales back in the favour for letting all teams play football evenly and everyone have the opportunity to play football. The man at the top of the scales must be the one to have set up the supporter system, or at the very least be involved within its introduction to cause some sort of oppressive system. I know that they don't like to give away too much to begin with, so there may be introduced to further villains down the road. He might be relatively middle of the road, and you might have a couple of people afterwards, much in the same way that it turned out that Ray Dark wasn't the original villain. He actually had someone who was above him that we see in the last series of Inazuma 11, where they're facing the World Tournament, where he has control over the Brazilian team. The section showing the other characters from teams shows Nathan has joined up with the Royal Academy alongside David and Kayan. I found this to be quite strange. I would have assumed he would have joined a team that specialises in speed, such as Shuriken Jr. After all, this was the first team they faced in the national tournament, and the one where Nathan is relied on most heavily. Axel is seen in his Kirkwood Jr. uniform. He did what he needed to do at Raymond to, put them in a better position, and I remember he settled the grudge between himself and the three brothers, who were also strikers, when he informed them, I think this was in the semi-finals, that his sister had been in a road accident. Byron Love makes a return. I wonder whether he will be a supporter for another team, or if he will return alongside his team Zeus Jr. Sean Frost is back with his brother Aiden, so in this case the accident with the avalanche has been removed, so the timeline has been changed in that respect, alongside a female character whom I think will be a midfielder. It would make sense to me since Aiden is a striker and Sean is a defender. Xavier from the top Alias Academy team appears with someone yet to be identified. A new character is also shown afterwards. He looks a little bit like Mark Evans, but is likely to be another captain from a different team. The support for the red-haired player looks quite bulky and quite tense. This suggests to me he is a goalkeeper, as most of them have that type of build. I know what you're going to say. I mean, you look at Shinsuke, look at some of the other players, even like the goalkeeper of Shuriken Jr. He's stick thin and a bit tall. Not all of them are muscly and have that kind of intensity, but generally that's the general aesthetics of what you would imagine from the goalkeepers. I also like the music that pairs with the opening. As a non-Japanese speaker, I only speak English. I have no idea what it actually means, but it tends to be quite a neutral song, not something you could consider within a specific genre, such as rock, and it complements, the imagery. The best part for me is beginning and end. It shows the cliffside of their island, with the beginning Asato on his own, and at the end the entire team. Well, that's it for the opening. Look forward to my thoughts on the ending, and as always, thank you for watching.